What's going on, guys? SombraDelPiso back once again with yet another video. I've been doing some observations, right? I feel like I'm Lushu, or one of them foretellers from Kingdom Hearts key back cover, where I'm just sort of in the world with all of this information. And I'm just going through the present moment, just observing, because I really don't have an effect on my environment. I really don't, or at least I don't, it doesn't seem like it. And some of the observations that I've gleaned recently are about social media usage amongst people in general. I go on the train from here to work or coming back from work. People are on their phones, interacting with social media, scrolling through ideologies, right, that are super, super strong, very, very potent, and very good and geared towards hijacking a part of our consciousness for, what's the word? To yield to that ideology and become it. I'm at work and people are, eating food in their restaurant, and they're on their phones doing the same thing, scrolling through. I am in the clothes store trying to find a new pair of jeans. People are indulging in the same kind of content. I'm in this park right now, and I see a couple people on their phones, most likely being entertained and indoctrinated. That's the word I was trying to find. Indoctrinated by the same thing. Why is it that social media has such a grip on our minds right now? And why is it going to continue to get worse from here? So let's talk about that right now. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, I'm going to talk about this in the best way I know possible. So once upon a time, I could say that I was addicted to scrolling on social media, always trying to find the new interesting thing. I was trying to find something engaging to engage with on social media, whether it be the perpetual gender war between men and women in the contemporary world, or, on the one end, how men should treat women, and on the other end, how women should treat men, and what you need to do as an individual to have the most success with money, investing, and all this stuff. And all of this information that we're given is very, very of a emotional charge. It's meant to galvanize us to take action, to do nothing, or at the very least, what it's meant to do really is to change our consciousness to just be very, very fearful and be very preemptive instead of being present and reading the situation from moment to moment and acting as such. I think that the reason why social media has become so powerful and has been being used so much is because we have to understand how people are, the psychology of the individual. Most people don't want to lead themselves. They want to receive answers from a source, from an entity, and just go on with their lives, whether it be with, they do that through divination, reading the times, numerology readings, astrology readings. People just want to understand what to do in their lives. They're not very good at making independent decisions. And with the advent of social media, we have some very, very ambitious individuals that take the forefront of certain aspects of the social stratas, right, of social behaviors, and they dictate and create ways of interaction with other individuals. There's a lot of cultural shifts that have happened, and I think they continue to happen primarily from social media, from the videos on social media, from people on social media. Streamers have usurped music artists in terms of popularity. Things have changed so much with that dynamic within the past decade and change. And so it all goes back to people not wanting to think independently. I can understand it's very, very difficult. This world has a lot of different factors, a lot of different variables. Things could happen randomly, unconsciously. We believe in a creator for the ones that are monotheistic, and sometimes we're not given what we think we want because I think a lot of us, in that regard, are ignorant about the conditions that we need to fulfill within our vessels in order to draw or to create exactly what we need, and then receive that from the creator based on our preordained paths. That's a topic for something else, because that we can get really, really in depth with that. But it goes back to people just not really knowing how to lead their lives. And it's the same thing with religion too. Religion ties into that too. Religion was very, very, very long ago in the Middle Ages, something that people believed in to carry their lives forth because they were very, very afraid to take their lives into their own hands and carve out their own path. Maybe, I don't know. This is only going to evolve from here, right? With the advent of AI and us not using AI correctly, that could also lead our lives as well and create, life paths for us all. Social media is very, very scary. I myself, in regard to social media, I don't find myself scrolling on social media anymore because I'm a guy with a purpose. I think I want to do something. I have plans to complete things, and I schedule my day. And so when you have concrete, solid plans and structures for your time, I think that random scrolling doesn't even find a way to fit into your schedule. And then a lot of the times I understand also about psychology. I understand that a lot of what's shown on your feeds, whether it be Facebook, any social media outlet, they're meant to draw your attention. And so you stay on the app, you scroll, you watch the content, you scroll again, you watch that new content. And then after a lot of time passed, you realize that you have learned nothing, you've gleaned nothing, absolutely F all, as the British would say. So with me, I understand that completely. And when I'm not going to say I'm not on social media every now and then, but trust me, it's not even for more than 5 seconds. I look, I realize the content that's, or I realize the ideology behind the content that's being shown to me on my newsfeed, and I just scroll off. A lot of us too, I think that we want to find something to believe in. We want to join some sort of frontier, some conflict, without being involved in the conflict at all. Like, for example, this gender war that's going on. I used to, once upon a time, say, we got to get out of the United States. We got to get out the West because the women outside of the United States and the West are so much more caring, family-oriented, traditional than the women in the United States, which is, by the way, still true. I'm dead serious. When you have done your data mining, right, in that regard, in that field, you'll realize that's true. But we're not going to go down that route. But my point is that I used to push a lot of this rhetoric, and I realized that I'm pushing a lot of this rhetoric to people that haven't really experienced the both ends. How women are in, say, North Macedonia versus women in London. And so they just go on gung-ho without really having experienced anything. And then they're spitting out opinions that they have no actual direct backing in or direct connection with. And that's social media. Social media is very, very good at galvanizing people to believe in something that ultimately causes separation. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because it's very interesting what I've been noticing so far. Just in general, I've always noticed this, and I'm sure you're going to notice it as well. But whenever you go from point A to point B and you just sort of take a look around or an observation around at the people around you and what they're really doing, and you'll observe this as well. You'll glean this information as well. So I don't know. What's the cure? I think that we just need to be a bit more involved in the present moment. I know that. And that's why it's so interesting too, because I'm going to go into something else. I think that's why solitude is so difficult for a lot of individuals. Like true solitude. And this is like solitude, time away from social media, your phones, time away from people, where you're just reading books and you're just learning more about yourself. You're exploring the world around you. You're being present. I think that's very, very difficult because social media and combined with high-speed internet just provides a whole bunch of information so quickly. We don't have to sit down and process all that information. We just get an idea, an aspect of it transmitted to our consciousness, and then we go on to the next thing, and that stuff remains in our consciousness, and then it goes back to our subconscious, and then it sort of creates our reality. It's absolutely It's absolutely insane. And going through periods of solitude where you're just on your own, you're not going, not flipping through social media, you're not trying to placate yourself with a dopamine release or anything. You're just in the present moment completely. That's very, very, very difficult for some people because it's just, I can imagine, it's just, I'm doing this right now. It's just, you're finding something to grab. You're finding an idea. You want to get yourself involved with something that you were used to doing, with engaging in social media as often as you used to before the period of solitude. So this is wild. I don't know. We can go and talk a lot about this, but these are just some of the ideas that I wanted to posit about the negatives of social media use, of frequent social media use in the contemporary day. So if you guys like that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Listen, don't ever let this place get you down. Social media is that is it's a double-edged sword. There's a lot that can be gleaned from social media. There's a lot that can be taken negatively from social media. And if we allow it to control us, if we allow, because there's a lot of psychology behind it too. Seriously, I mean, I mentioned it before, but there's a lot more that has to do with social media than meets the eye, because addiction sets in with social media too, due to a sort of a dopamine release and that slow nervous system reliance that comes about from heavy social media usage. We can go into this from here to the moon. Seriously, there's a lot of neuroscience studies that go into social media, but you have to be careful. I think the essential way to tackle social media or anything in this life that can be detrimental to you, but also on the flip side serve as a source of benefit, is you need to have an deep appraisal of what the heck you're getting into, whether it be ideology on the internet that talks about, say, women in the United States not being as substantial as women abroad, in the Eastern Europe, South America, Asia, so on and so forth. You need to understand exactly what it is that you're intaking, the information that you're intaking, process it. Have some thoughts, sit alone with this content and decide whether you want to carry on engaging with it. And if you do plan to, moderate your usage and moderate your intake of that kind of information. That's all I'm saying. Stay radiant, my friends. I'm going to see you guys in the next video.